this is Tom from Deblable, and I'm going to be continuing my CSS tutorial series on tips and tricks for CSS. And today we're going to be going in, continuing our CSS website. So currently, all we really have is a border, but using similar styling tricks, we're going to put what I would call a content box in there. And we could use that for multiple content boxes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to close this, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the title. Actually, I'll keep the title. Now, for organizational purposes and simplicity, I am going to use a table tag, but if you feel adventurous and you want to do it somehow, it doesn't really matter using a table, but a lot of people like using using div tags. Sometimes it can be a little bit more accurate, but usually the table has way more advantages, and it's just easier for organizational. You'll see what I mean. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a table. Okay, and then I'm going to table row. I have no idea what TD stands for. I'm assuming it's like, well, I'm just going to call it a column, because then I'll end the column and I'll start another table row, because that's technically what it is. It's a column. Okay, so now we have a table. Put some content in here, and I'll just say content, and I'll save, and I'll run, and we see, well, you have content there. Why can't you just put it in there? You'll see. It'll look a lot nicer in a minute. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here. I'm going to give it another ID, kind of like what we did, and we're going to call this maybe I'll just call it box, because it's going to be a box. So I'm going to save it, and if I round it, nope, it's still not done. Okay, if I copy this here, paste it in here, so now I have the same content, the same CSS, and we set this to box. So now it has the same, well, yeah, it's exactly the same. But then I get rid of the position absolute and the sizing, and then I leave the box shadow, and I just take the rounding and I edit the rounding. So I'm just gonna have, I just want border radius, border Moz border radius, and I'm gonna just tone this. You know what? I'll keep that the same, and I'll put it there. We'll get something like that. Now, it's just a little bubble because there's no set size parameters yet. But those, because we're gonna have multiple boxes and some other boxes are gonna be different sizes, I'm gonna set the width here equal to maybe 200 pixels. And I'm going to save that, refresh it, and I'll make the height HIGHT equals maybe, yeah, another 200 pixels. Save this, and I'll put that. Now, I don't want this riding up right against here. I believe I had padding in here, but I don't. So I'm going to go up into my content, and I'm going to add padding, not passing, padding, colon, semicolon, and I'm going to set padding of 10 pixels. I'm just going to say that. I'm going to refresh that. So yeah, it's a little bit bigger, but now it's not right up against the edge. Now, I really don't want this to be the same color and out. I'm thinking I'm going to want it a little bit darker, maybe a little bit lighter. I haven't really decided yet. So let's try it being a little bit darker. So from up there, we know that this box right here is a background color. The outer box, actual border, is 300. Well, 333. That's the hexadecimal color for it, which is actually 30, 30, 30. Now, I want to make, if you don't understand the hexadecimal codes, I'll have something in the description for a little bit explaining. It's a fairly simple concept, but I just wanted to say that because then, you know, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you can learn. Okay, so we have 333, which is 30, 30, 30, which should give us what we have already. But if I went 3, 3, 3, which is 30, 30, 33, 33, 33, I should get a dark. It's hard. It's really hard to tell. So I want that would be a little bit lighter. Maybe I'll just go a 111 file save as. That might be too dark. Maybe I'll go with a 222. We'll save this. Like it's definitely darker, but I don't think it actually looks that great. So I'm gonna go with a 25, 25, 25. And I'm just gonna say that. And that was just gonna give us a slightly lighter. But I don't like these shadows. So I'm gonna show you a nice trick with shadows. So I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna set this to 1, and then 1 negative. Make sure I have my PX in there so it knows what to move it over by. And then we'll save. So once again, where did my shadow go? Oh, put the wrong thing right there. And I'll just move it over. 1 second. I think I might have it in the wrong place. Yeah, this makes more sense, I guess. Where do we want the light shadow coming from? Because that's what I'm manipulating right now. See, what we can have it going from is we can have it going from, I want it to come from the left. Actually, just like that. I think that will do. So now it's going in, but then there's very little shadow on this side. So something that we could accomplish for that is I'm going to set this to a 2. This to a 2. I'm just going to put a comma here. And I'm just going to put inset again. And this time I'm going to make this not a 3 but a 1. And this is going to be a 1. This is going to be a 1. It's going to be negative, negative. And then I'll just save. And I'll give us this outer rim. And note it's darker, which kind of makes it stand out, probably because it's less blurred. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it, I'm going to make it a little lighter. You know what? That looks good. See how it looks like it's inset, but it looks like it's the light shadows coming from the one side. It looks a lot nicer that way. And now I'm going to add some padding, kind of like we did before. Actually, exactly the same that we did before. This is where copying and pasting can come in handy, and it can help things a lot faster. So now that we have a padding in here, you may have noticed the content is centered inside the table, which we do not want. The easiest way to fix that is go up to your TD tag and just add V align. Align equals top. I'm just going to save that. And now we have that at the top. So now we have our basic content, which is nice. So now that we have our outside border for our website, our basic panel for our website, and we have a content bubble, we need to start putting content in that bubble. And there's a couple ways to do this. The first way is to manually input it. The best way is to use PHP, which we do have some tutorials on our website, but I'm going to try and stay away from that because it requires setting up a whole new server and setting up a whole bunch of stuff that we don't really need to get into. And because this tutorial is about CSS, I'm going to go on and show you a whole bunch of text tips, showing you some rounding on pictures, how to make pictures stand out and look nice, how to make text look different, different coloring effects, some gradients. I'm going to go on through that all on this website. So though I may have some blank content in here, this is going to be the base website that we're going to use, and I am going to have it in the description for download, which I will mention in the next tutorial when I do in this series, which probably will be uploaded quite soon. So just remember, always visit Debleable, watch all our tutorials, And I also want to say we are finishing our login system, and you can receive points now.